With love. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm looking at my window right now and it's actually snowing. I was riding a bike yesterday for quite a few miles, more miles than I thought. I had no idea really of the mileage, but I went to some canyon called Waterton Canyon. I've been there before, and it was so warm and so sunny. And this morning, it's snowing. I was looking at the clouds and I thought, oh, great, rain again. That's great. I love rain in Colorado. It's very different from rain in Mount Shasta. Rain in Mount Shasta is beautiful, but it reminds me a little bit, like when it comes to this time of year, rain in Mount Shasta mixed with the snow that they get reminds me of that kind of Midwest kind of um, winters that I had growing up, where it was kind of slushy and mushy and kind of messy. Whereas Colorado's idea of moisture is definitely more dry. Even the fluffy snow that's falling right now is like all magical and like all snowballish. It's really great with some wind. Anyway, amazing how the weather can just change. They say that about Colorado. They say, don't like the weather, just wait a minute, right? And life is like that also. If you don't like how something's going, and if something isn't going your way, well, shift it, change it. Hi, everybody. Nice to have you here. I'm just going to take a quick look at the chat. Hello, peace and joy. How you doing? Hey, Pac-Man, what's up? And so, yeah, life is about change. And how do we navigate the change? How do we flow through the change? How do we move with it? What's been coming up lately is that idea of feeling stuck, right? And asking that question, what do I need to do to not feel that? Like, what little thing can I change in my life to not feel the stuckness? For me recently, it was completely pulling everything out of my traveling studio in all the places I had it stored and reorganizing everything and moving everything so that I can live life in a totally different way, so that I can offer what I want to offer. Because right now, whenever I come back to a place after traveling in another place, there's always this transitional period. There's a transitional period in how I receive my exercise and my fun and communication with friends. Like everything just, it's like a whole new life that happens when I go from one place to another, which makes sense, right? Different environment, different types of scenarios happening. So that's one way, by the way. One way is to just move yourself, is to move yourself to a place where all of a sudden everything is different. Like it has no choice but to be different. And there's no us controlling it in order to have it be different. What we do is we adapt and we mold our new piece of clay that we've received. We mold it into a different shape, and a shape that we are directing. We are directing the creativity. We're not letting somebody else come in and like hack away at our clay or be like, you know what, you don't need this, throw this out of here. We are grabbing that clay, we are working with it. Because if you've ever worked with clay before, if you haven't, you have to really work with it. You have to warm it up to get it to kind of mold into a different fashion, a different shape. For some reason, I wanted to say a different sound. And the reason why I'm saying a different sound is because every shape has sound. The shape of you has a sound. The shape of your voice has a sound. um, how you energetically respond in life has a sound, has a resonance, right? So we have the ability to reshape and mold ourselves at any time. It's more of a matter of believing that we can do that. And the way we believe we can do that is by taking the small steps needed. Because otherwise, for me personally, anyway, things can become overwhelming if I don't break it down and be like, okay, what do I have that's small? What do I have that's small, that doesn't seem like a significant change, but can create change, right? And what is needed right now is a great question. What is needed right now? Not what is not what makes sense, not what because I got to tell you, there's a lot of things in my life right now personally that would make sense for me to continue doing as I've been doing, like say the last month or so. We'll just say that time frame. But then I noticed that there's no movement. There's not a change happening. So that was the first step. The first step was, what do I need to do? What do I need right now? And what is available to me that I can kind of shift around, right? That we can kind of move around. And I picked some cards before I came on here. Hi, guys. Shoulder surgery was needed and gotten. Good job, Elon. Good job. So yeah, you you take the information because that's all it is. Everything that comes to you, not like necessarily at you. It feels like it comes at us sometimes, but and then we feel like we're like, right? We're like dodging. No, no, I don't want that. Rather than dodging, we can embrace it, acknowledge that it might be uncomfortable, like, ooh, this is crunchy. I don't like it. And then, like the surgery thing, we don't necessarily want to go under the knife in surgery, but sometimes there's certain energies that are needed for particular ailments, so to speak, like different things that show up in the body. The energy of a surgical knife and the intention put behind it is going to be what is needed at the time, possibly. Possibly before that, there were steps of your body or something coming in, like signs of like yoga or um, different other stretching in different ways, swimming, acro yoga. There's like so many different ways of stretching. Sometimes injuries just happen through the sports that we do and through the ways that unrealized, unnoticeable type things that just kind of like happen, right? And then we kind of move with them. But like there's different ways that our world will show us, like different ways to utilize energy to promote healing in our lives, physically, emotionally, you know, on all realms. So, as we move forward with some of the cards that came in, another card about boundaries came up. This was up in the previous video. So, some of you out there, your boundaries could be looked at. This particular card talks about negotiations, contracts, and communications. So, when I feel into this card of boundaries, for me personally, this last year, it's been a lot about keeping healthy boundaries. um, People will give you what ifs, and it's perfectly fine to kind of, you know, entertain, as in like observe those what ifs and like feel into your own body. Does that feel resonant with you? If it's not feeling resonant with you, then there are more questions to be asked. So, negotiations, contracts, and communication. The cards that I'm using today are sacred stone cards. When I put this up to the camera, I automatically, um, different things come to mind. So there's energy coming up about the sacredness of you, the sacredness of your body, um, the steps taken to bring sacredness into your daily life. What I see here is a womb, or like a yoni as well. Like I see both. We've got the sacred feminine, basically, right here. Seed of life, soul seed. And we've got the human in the center with the light. Interestingly, with the arms outreached, this came up in a meditation. It was actually an initiation that came in this morning. That's what's been coming in, guys, are the energies of, I'll go over here. Lighting is, oh my gosh, I just totally dropped everything. Wow. That's okay. Let me regroup here. So, the energies of Avalon and fairies and elfin folk have all been coming in today. I'm going to give you a little bit of info, which I haven't done in a while, actually. There's a frequency that I was looking into and that we will come back to. A couple different frequencies coming in the morning. One is the white rose. That is one that is coming in. And a few others. But what I'm going to get back to before all my stuff fell down. See, life just happens. When you think everything's going to go neatly, stuff like falls down like dominoes. And then what do? Do you freak out? No. We pick them up. Or we leave them on the ground, whichever works for us. But what's coming in now is the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine in you. And we talked about this on the last live, I think, that had to do with the beingness of you, the softness. That was the word, the softness of you. We tend to organize things in our life and control a lot. And it's the sense of controlling that allows our beautiful egos to come in and want to overwrite the heart and say, no, this is what needs to be done in order for this, and this to happen. And that's how we've always been taught. And that's no longer how it's working, guys. It's no longer how it's working. Yeah. Here we have our arms outreached, embracing, allowing, and surrendering for the energies to come in that can basically shift your whole timeline, can completely shift you to a different space where all of a sudden life feels good. Life feels happier somehow. Life feels less of a struggle and more of a curiosity. Like, that just happened. My computer just fell off my table. Or the plan that you thought was going to happen or how things were going to be is totally different, right? And we either live in that where our body, our energetic signature is telling us, hey, this is not the place for us. This is not the thing for us. This is not the thing that we're doing. We want to do something different. And when we struggle and when we deny that highest inner being self of ours, we are not self-advocating for ourselves. So that might be something to feel into, is the self-advocation, the keeping of boundaries. This card, I didn't look at it before it came on, but it was right underneath this card. They both popped up. Cycle breaker. So this makes sense as to what we're talking about. Breaking the cycles. You'll get through it. Cycle is ending. So whatever you've been currently in that has not felt yummy at all, the cycle is breaking. There's like alleviation coming. But part of these cards, by the way, part of the cards that come up here, people talk about, is this psychic, is this etc. These are just tools. These cards are tools to tell you what's available to you. What does that mean? That means that you have free will. So when this card comes up and it shows it's available to you to break a cycle, it's a couple of things. It's the energies are that which there's an opening for you. There's totally an opening, but with free will, you have the choice to take the opening or not take the opening. Where will you be if you don't take the opening? You can answer that for yourselves. So here is the energy showing the breaking of cycles, a renewal, a newness coming in. what we also have, this reminds me a little bit of being in Mount Shasta. It's a different type of mountain, but we have this card right here. Be the mountain, slow and steady, foundations and patience. So as you make your moves for the ending of the cycles, be the mountain, be the foundation, be that observer that kind of, you can see right here, up here, these are almost like hands of prayer. This would be where your heart center is. This would be your foundation right here. This is where your strength lies, is here. When we connect, we're basically what I'm always saying about how you guys are the channel. You guys are the channel at the heart where you connect heaven to earth, where heaven meets earth. You are that. That is what you are. And this is you. This is the vastness of you. Think about any time you've seen a mountain range, the feeling that you get. That is what is contained within you. That and so much more. You're virtually boundless. It's only our human conceptions that bring us into this place of smallness. Now, would you consider this mountain a mountain of smallness? When you look at a mountain, do you think that's a small mountain? Now, if you were bigger than the size of the mountain, that you might have a different perspective, right? But you look at a mountain and you feel in your heart expansion. Why? Because it's an expanded view. Any view that you look at is completely expansive out in nature. And as humans, we often want to create this frame. We talked about frames and expanding the frame before in other videos. We want to make this frame around something like, okay, here it is, and this is where it's going to stay, and this is my cute little box. As long as I have my cute little box, everything's going to work out great. But sometimes we need to open the box and we need to see what's in the box and be like, aha, okay, so I have this to work with. Let's put that over there. Now I have, all right, that's, wow, okay, I didn't know I had that. There it is. Go in the box again and be like, all right, now we're working here. Now, wow, there is a lot of stuff in here. This is like Mary Poppins' bag. Everything that's in this box, right? A lot of the time, you know, we make this box about like our life and how it's going to be, and we don't open the box. We don't open the box. We're just like, this is it. These are our points. These are our lattices and our lines. This is all that there is, right? Even like in school, we think we see geometry, right? And they always talk about like what's around, and we see this empty space inside, but you know, there's so much that we have that we're not accessing. And that's why we meet up on this channel at 11:11 Mountain Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday currently, because it's about opening the box. It's about unwrapping you. It's about having you have a different perspective on what could be and not just be, how would I say this? Of what could be, of having aspirations, of having those desires come to you, and being able to move with the flow again. Because we all have those times of up and down. I had a friend text me the other day and they're like, how have you been? And I responded with like a voice memo, and I was like, today I am great. Today I am great. I am going on a bike ride. I'm very excited. Haven't had any exercise like since I arrived here, and because I was having exercise and movement in a different way before. And today I'm great. And why did I say that? Was because yesterday, previously to that conversation, I was in a strange place. I was in a place where I was completely having to be and getting to be completely in the mental mind. What does that mean? That means I was taking care of technical paper type stuff that is generally not my forte. I'm actually a very smart person and I can learn a lot and apply it, but it's not my necessarily my happy place unless it's something like super creative. And so I noticed that after hours from like 7 a.m. to around close to 1 ish, having to be so much in my mental mind, the moment that I was complete with that paperwork and everything was submitted and taken care of, I felt like I had to lay down. I felt like I needed time to myself. And I took that time. And then I rescheduled a creative, fun thing that I was going to do with someone. It would have been a combination of mind and heart because it has to do with like restructuring a trailer that she's got. But I took that time that I needed because I could feel that it was like too much. It was too much. I was able to go through it and I was able to stay heart centered while I answered what I answered on the certain paperwork and turn the certain things in. But yeah, it was a lot. And then the rest of the day, I went and I played basketball. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play basketball and see how that feels. But it was a real unusual feeling within my whole body, my mind. My brain basically shut off. But I didn't feel like I was completely in the heart either. It was really strange. It was like my emotions had kind of, everything had kind of turned off. Like, hey, we're just going to turn you off for a little bit because something in here in the nervous system needs to reset, basically. And that happens for people in many different ways. I haven't had it happen like that for quite some time because of all the different meditations and tools and other things that I've learned. I've been able to kind of come out of those. But sometimes we're meant to be in it and let the work needed happen that needs to happen, and then we see where we're at. We reevaluate basically. Where am I, right? What do I need right now? That day, I needed comfort food. So basically, something occurred in my nervous system, even though I was in a calm place and staying like on cue for everything. There was still a resistance or something happening within my system that was like, this is intense for you. You might not realize that this is intense for you by handling this type of thing, but it's super intense for you. And I felt like I was guided. I felt like I could go through it. I felt like this before when helping my mom through her depression experience. That's probably the last time that I felt something like that, where I stayed like strong in it all, but then I didn't have the softness in there. I don't know where I would have put softness really in that paperwork, except for possibly bringing in like tasty things that I like while I work on that paperwork, right? Like a nice hot coffee or a blueberry muffin or scone or something that's super tasty to make something that you're working on that isn't really extremely fun a little more desirable, right? As we go through this human experience. Yeah, paperwork can be draining, Elon, for sure. I'm just looking at the comments here, seeing if anybody has any questions. Checking it out. Driven by Mount Shasta twice, felt something about it both times. Elon, if that's true, then Shasta's possibly calling to you. I don't know where you live, but it might be time to take a little tour of Shasta. You might be drawn to the Lemurian energies there. You might be drawn to Saint Germain and the Violet Flame. Definitely, life is so cool if you look at it the right way. So that's that easy breezy way that I've been talking about in the last couple lives. We have the ability to look at what is accept what is, even if it's uncomfortable. We can accept it. And when I mean accept it, I don't mean we just lay down, roll over, and do nothing. I mean, it's acceptance, as in, I accept that this is currently occurring, but we're not condoning it. We're accepting that it's occurring, and we're also accepting that we have the power to take action in this life. So that's something that's coming up, taking action in life, just like it was for me to completely take apart my space and reevaluate as I'm doing my website and I'm offering silent haircut sessions that I'm offering in person. I looked at my space at my studio and I was like, there's adjustment that needs to be happening in this space. Because I currently, because I've only been back a couple weeks, I've currently had it set up for a different type of action. I'll say that. Like, I had some wire around, I had some beads around, I had hammering tools around because I work with I work with copper wire and I work with silver. But to be honest, I haven't worked with those things in a while. I don't know why. For me, everything's like inspiration. I want to be inspired to work with something. Sometimes it's just a matter of picking something up or seeing an inspirational video, but it just hasn't been in my awareness to work with the metal lately. So I reconfigured my space and I'm still in the fine tuning process, but this is going to help shift other things in my life, not just business things, but other things in my life just by cleaning up those things. When you clean up your space, when you reconfigure things, when I had when I was in a like a actual house, foundational house, domicile, I would move furniture around when I cleaned. Quite often, people would come back and the furniture would be in a totally different place, or it would be started and I'd be like, hey, come here, I need your help. I really need to move this couch over there and this coffee table over there, and I just need to, and then I would clean under everything, right? And we're in spring, so I guess that's part of, like, some of that's coming up, the spring cleaning, the reorganization, the bringing in the new, as like the seeds that we planted are now sprouting, right? Or seeds from last year that went dormant or maybe gaining new life, new projects, right? So what other cards we have here? We'll just look at this. What's this? Okay, interesting. So under the mountain card, we've got the stone of destiny, life path, ambition, passion, and yes. So if you needed permission, here's your permission to shift something in your life. Today, this week, write some things down. This is basically what comes to mind is Excalibur's sword. So when I said that fairies and elves, the elementals were coming in, what's also been coming in is the white rose. And the white rose, I believe, is significant of Avalon. Avalon's been coming in, the priestesses, the whole meditation that I woke up to this morning that I put off because I could tell this was a long video. This was like almost 3 hours. And there was a meditation involved, and it turned out to be an initiation of the ladies of Avalon, the priestesses of Avalon, and Isis, actually. So you would think that the two don't go together, but they do. A lot of that realm of Avalon and all the magic therein existed. These priestesses in that realm, they were able, so the priestesses and the ladies of Avalon were able to travel between this world that you're in and other realms, and they were able to do it pretty easily. They weren't the only ones who were able to do it pretty easily. The more we work on our different senses, the more you're able to jump timelines and find yourself in different realms through Bilocation is a word, and astral travel is a word. Every time we follow a guided meditation that takes us somewhere, is us projecting ourselves to that place. I myself, through breath and messages have come out on this channel where we've ended up in Egypt, I think. Yeah, Egypt, possibly. There was a time in England um, where I took you to sacred waters, but sacred waters have been coming up. The sacredness of you is coming up. How can you bring sacredness into your daily life on a regular basis? Besides meditation, we all talk about meditation, but what can be brought in sacredly? I once talked to a friend about his use of plant medicine, and I asked, and he was like, I might not even need that anymore. He's like, I was mostly, it was a habit, and I was with someone, and that was something that we did together, and then they stopped, and I continued because they were depressed, right? And so he was like, well, maybe I don't need it because I'm not with that person anymore. I'm not depressed anymore. I'm not feeling like I'm stuck in that whatever it is. He called it a situationship. And that was one of the things I brought up. Like, okay, well, that's great. If you're feeling like you want to make that change, fantastic. I was like, also, if you're feeling like you're not ready for that change, then how would you utilize plant medicine in a more intentional way? Not like necessarily like coming home and having a glass of wine. How would you intentionally bring meditation into it and intent while the plant medicine is being utilized for something more than just taking the edge off? I'll say it like that. So, King Arthur, Merlin. So King Arthur had Guinevere. Merlin actually had a counterpart that I didn't know about until recently called Me. Me, M-E. And she was his counterpart, his female counterpart. Everything has a masculine and a feminine. So they work together, and I don't know what you would call her. If she would be called what do they call magic people that are females? I'm thinking magician, but what do they call female magicians? Does anybody know? She was the bringer of creativity. She often walked around with a sketchbook and different tools for creation. And so I'm just bringing that up just for information so people know that it's not just about Merlin. Everything has a counterpart. Jesus had Mary Magdalene. um, there's a counterpart out there. Okay, that's coming up a little bit. Counterpart out there. It's not always romantic though. Sometimes it's animals. Sometimes it's real good friendships. We often think it has to be romantic. I think a lot of it is there are things that we aren't meant to do things alone. That's something I know, that we aren't meant to go to live this life like completely like away. There may be times that we need that awareness, but mostly we are here to work together, communicate, and collaborate. Fine tune ourselves in the best way that we can. And when we do that for ourselves, we draw those people to us, those friendships, those jobs, those opportunities, those lovers. Like they come in because we've gotten ourselves to that place. We've gotten ourselves to that place where we're taking care of our inner being, that little kid within us is what really self-mastery is. It's mastering the self of like parenting our own little inner child so that our nervous systems can stay equalized. That's the way I'll put it. So I'm going to answer a question right here, real quick. Animal totems. Are animal spirits if we have looked, so to speak? And no. So am not I am not versed in shamanism, which is what a lot of people who are versed in shamanism know about spirit animals. I only know about a couple. What I do and what I suggest would be to explore. If it's like sounding out to you to look into your totem animal, then I would look that up. There might be a way to look it up through your birthday. I've actually never looked up my totem animal. It came up a couple times, and I guess I wasn't interested in it enough initially. I think I know, like, according to a Chinese menu, I looked, and that's how a lot of us, by the way, find out a certain part of our astrological totem animal is like through getting Chinese food. But check that out. Occasionally, I do use a deck that actually has different animals, and then we kind of look them up and see what that's all about. I'm going to see if I have any other questions. Oh, that's really cool. Elon. Okay, he says, I keep catching you or you draw me in. I feel when I need a spiritual tune-up of sorts. Wow, that's awesome. I do feel that way. I feel that we draw the people to us that are ready to hear the message at the time, right? That there's something there for everybody. All right. Wow, thanks for being here. And what else is coming in? Stone of Destiny. So I feel like everything's falling off my table today. So, Stone of Destiny. It's your time. You're ready. None of those other people could pull out the sword because, according to the folklore, like, they were not the chosen. They were not the one. You are the chosen one. That's what actually came up in the meditation I did this morning. So you are the anointed one. You are the chosen one. Now, action is needed. If King Arthur never went to pull out the sword because he saw everybody else and saw that it couldn't be done, and he just gave up, the story would have ended, right? This person here, she's ready. We've got the sacred feminine again, right? The sacred feminine coming in. So we've got the feminine, so we've got the womb, we've got the seed, the opening, basically the tree of life. You are the tree of life. The foundation. The foundation. And we have the card, yes, of wisdom keepers, of a new perspective. We have these two cards together. There's a time to go inward and really ask the questions that need to be asked for change to occur. And then there's the belief that I'm going to do this. And feel into that. When you feel into how it would make you feel to change something, what does that feel like? I'm not saying there won't be fear that comes in with it, or your mind going, oh, this, and this, but knowing you have the power. The power lies within you to take the action that's needed to break the cycles, because there's an opening, to be the mountain, to don't do anything rash necessarily, but go within or write something down in journal and be like, All right, what I'm writing down seems to make sense. The reason I ask you guys to write things down is because more of your inner being will come out when you're actually writing on paper than when you're necessarily um, in your mind. More of the heart comes into play, and you just, you can just start writing nonsense. You could start scribbling and making pictures, and then see what occurs as you're thinking about, all right, where am I going on my next path? Where do I want to be? Keeping those boundaries in line, remembering your boundary, remembering the softness, remembering the support, being deep rooted within the earth, being supported by the earth, Mother Earth, nurturing you, wrapping its arms around you, wrapping around you energetically, wrapping the arms around you, here to support you. Give me a minute. I'm just wondering why I want to turn this upside down. Why do I want to turn this upside down? You just kind of see like a nut, a seed. Something about planting new seeds. New seeds. And we have this card, which